Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Now That You Mention It podcast with Roll, Jay, and RJ.
I'm Roll.
I'm Jay.
And I'm RJ.
And guys, hey, this week we got a special surprise for our viewers, our listeners. We brought on a world famous DJ that is, he's been to the DJ Mix World Finals. I don't even know what it's called. I just know he was in the national championship for DJs. He is known throughout Dallas as DJ Fisher Price. Of course, we know him as our cousin, our family, Sam Leal. Sam, welcome to the show.
What's up, Sam?
Today I am Mixmaster Poopington. How's it going, guys?
Going fantastic. And we really wanted to bring Sam onto the show because, we've done episodes on movies. We've done episodes on TV shows. We talk, topical stuff, whatever's going on in the world at the time when we do the shows. But I wanted to do a show based on kind of like an internet. It was an internet phenomenon that happened during the shutdown. And that was the rise of the internet DJ. I know that during the lockdown, a lot of people were home spending a lot of time on social media. Like everybody else, I spend my fair time of amount of time on social media. And one of the things that I noticed during the lockdown was how many DJs were broadcasting through social media. And so that's why I kind of wanted to bring Sam on so we could kind of talk to him about the phenomenon, talk to him about some music. And little known to a lot of people, Sam is a sneakerhead. So I want to talk shoes with him as well. So, guys, we'll get started. I guess right off the bat, Sam, the question that I have for you is, I've seen a little tour of your house there. I see the background there with all the records that you have behind you. So my question was, which do you have more of, vinyl or shoes?
I have way more vinyl than shoes. I probably have 3,500 records.
Wow.
God.
And about maybe 200 to 300 pair of shoes.
Well, both quantities are impressive.
Yeah.
Real quick,
Oh, man.
Before we get too much further, I want to remind everybody that if you would give us a like and a share, hit the little bell up in the corner so you get notified whenever we drop a new episode. And also to remember to check out our podcast
on Podbean.
Podbean, on Apple Podcast and Spotify. All right, back to the show.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I totally forgot about that. But so Sam, I wanted to talk to you about this because I know that you did a couple of shows. Actually, I think you were doing almost nightly shows on Facebook. So what was your inspiration to kind of do that?
Well, when I started, I was kind of feeling down. Like COVID had just, being stuck in my house, it got to me. And music has always been a salvation for me. And playing in clubs nowadays, when I started DJing, I started because I wanted to play music I liked.
Right.
And I got to a point where you now have to play for the masses. So if you want to live as a DJ and only a DJ, you can't play for yourself. You have to play for everybody else in the bar. So with being at the house, I was like, well, I can just jump online and go back to just playing whatever I want. And if you want to jump in and listen to what I like, you can. If you don't, there's someone else you can go listen to. But it helped me clear my mind because for an hour and a half to 2 hours, I was just playing music that I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, Sam. I bet it was very therapeutic for you to get back to playing music that you like, but also I agree. I mean, because we all got stuck at home, and a lot of us that were constantly kind of out in the street, even in my industry, we spent a lot of time in the car. But when all of a sudden you're just really pigeonholed at home, it's easy to go stir crazy. So I bet that was a pretty good release for you to get back to playing the music you wanted to play and not having to worry about making anybody else happy other than yourself.
Oh man, it was so much fun. Like I went through music that I forgot I had. And I was even going through some of my records and like ripping it onto MP3 so I could play it during one of my sets. So it was, and then it got to a point where other DJs were like making money off of it. So I never went towards the money route because I feel blessed where I had a nice savings and I wasn't hurting for money. So I just wanted to do it for myself. But I have DJ friends who made quite a bit of money just going live.
That's
Well,
awesome.
I have a question for you, Sam. I was planning to use this later on, but I guess since we're on the topic of COVID, with everything that's going on with the internet DJs, have you ever? I know at one point you had like a website where you could access your mixes with like other DJs, but have you ever thought of like putting out your own, tapes, mix, collection, whatever you want to call it, kind of for the mass to download?
Yeah, there's a website I use called Mixcloud, and I have maybe 30 mixes already up on there, so people can just go listen to. So like whenever I record a mix, I'll upload it and then I'll put it all over Facebook and the rest of my social media and be like, hey, go check out my Mixcloud, and there's just all different types of mixes you can listen to.
So, Sam, I'm pretty sure you got a pretty diverse background or different taste in genres of music because you play everything. And I've unfortunately I've never really spent a whole lot of time in the club, so I don't really get to see you in action. But tell me if you said, hey, some of my most favorite music is drawn from blank. What does that fill in the blank for you?
I would have to say rap and Motown.
Okay.
Just growing up with some of our older cousins, working with them in a delivery van, they would listen to Soul KKDA,
yeah,
listen to a lot of soul and funk music. So
yeah.
So that and hip hop stems from that. So
right.
It was an easy segue, like, listening to hip hop music and being like, oh, that sounds like this song that our cousin Raul used to play in our work van. And so those two are the two musics that really get me going.
Good. All right, Sam. So real quick, give us a little background on yourself. What actually got you started into DJing?
Part of it is hip hop music, and just seeing DJs in like hip hop videos, and this will surprise a lot of people, but Oliver, your old buddy Oliver, seeing him and his buddy DJ Turbo, they used to do family parties for us, and I would just sit in the back and just watch them, and I was mesmerized. I never really said much, but I would just sit there and watch them and didn't even really understand how all the music was going. And then I think when I was 16, your brother Gabriel and my brother Edward bought some turntables together. And
I remember that, yeah.
They were trying to figure out DJing. Yeah. And while they were trying to figure out DJing, I was too, because at one point they had left the equipment here at my house. So when no one was watching, I would go upstairs where they had the turntables, and I would just play records and try to figure out what I was doing.
So, Sam,
I just took it from there. And
I was going to say, I know you've DJ'd all kind of events, but I mean, you've done some Red Bull stuff. I know you've done charity events for Michael Young. Like, if you had to say, hey, what's the most fun you've had DJing at any one event, let's just say I pick your top two, what would those be?
I DJ'd at this music festival in Tulsa, Oklahoma called the Center of the Universe Fest.
Okay.
And I think I DJ'd for maybe 25 to 30,000 people in between the main stage acts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably up there. And then I DJ'd in Montreal in like 2007 at a hip hop show. And just the feeling I got from those kids, you know, afterwards they all came up to me speaking in French. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm American. I don't know what you're saying, but and then they repeated what they said back in English.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, man, I'm a stupid Texan. Y'all should have just spoken English in the first place.
Oh man.
Seeing how hip hop music affects people all over the world, you know, it was insane to me. So it was just a crazy feeling. I always tell people that I never have to do drugs, because seeing how a crowd reacts and having someone come up to me saying, man, what you did tonight, you know, got me through something. That's the high that I chase.
Oh, wow.
So, you
That's
know,
cool.
I never have to dabble in any other drug, because there's no better high than having someone tell you how you affected their whole night with just music.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
So I was gonna ask Sam kind of a two-piece question. What was some of your early influences, you know, or role models, and how did you get your first, I guess, public or big gig?
Early influences, like I said, were Oliver, DJ, Turbo. I used to listen to Baby G on the radio. And then when I started DJing, I met a couple friends. My buddy DJ Envious was already a little bit more established than I was, and he helped me start getting, you know, out in the public and DJing. So unfortunately, I owe it all to him.
So to follow up RJ's question, do you remember what was your first actual paying gig?
Not paying gig, but the first time I was ever on stage, and this is crazy. It was September 1st, 2001.
Oh wow!
And I remember he was mixing records, and I was kind of just scratching over what he was doing. And afterwards, I was like, "This is it! Like, I'm on! Like, everything is gonna be amazing after this." And 10 days later, the world changed.
Yeah,
like, it was surreal. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
Going from that high of like, man, I'm going to be DJing everywhere, and then September 11th happened, and everything changed.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget that because of September 11th.
So real quick, Sam, tell our viewers what your because you have a college degree. Tell everybody what your college degree's in.
In English and creative writing.
But you know, hey, that kind of helps, because you have to have imagination to do creative writing.
Right.
And along with that, you know, the whole artistry of DJing, you have to have some kind of imagination to do that too, because there are times when I'm listening to a DJ in a club, and, you know, even growing up, you know, with Oliver and those guys, listening to them, I'm not very artistic. I've always been a very analytical person. I've always told people, give me a spreadsheet and I can work wonders. But when it comes to things like artistic things, I'm not very apt at it. But to be able to hear how you blend some songs that you would never think would go together, and yet to make them flow like that's an art in and of itself. Where do you think that comes from in you, Sam?
I think it's just hearing, music. Even your dad, he had that jukebox at y'all's
Yep.
house,
Yeah.
and he had every type of music on it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Except
And,
for rap.
just,
He really didn't have rap.
Everybody. But even with all our fathers, there's always that one rap song that they probably listen
Yeah.
to. Uncle Mac. You put on Young MC, and he starts dancing. There's so.
Hey, they had the Sugar Hill Gang.
Whether we realize it, like our family, our family might not be musical, but there's an appreciation for music throughout our family.
Yeah,
So I think just hearing blends of all different types of music, it kind of opened up my mind to, like, there's all this music available, and there's a DJ named Z Trip that I saw when I was 20, and he kind of opened up my mind to, like, wow, like, you can play Guns N' Roses next to Africa Bambaataa, and you can play a disco record and then go into AC/DC if you can make it fit, So just listening to other DJs kind of just had opened my mind up to figuring out, like, the type of I can just go everywhere with music.
So how has the equipment changed in the time that you've been doing this? Because you've been doing this a long time now. You're talking about from 2001. So you're talking about 19 years. When you first started out, I'm sure it was just a couple of turntables. But how's the music? I mean, how's the equipment upgraded and helped you out over the years?
Oh man, it's with there's a program called Serato now, which made it where we don't have to carry records anymore. When we used to go to a gig and take 6 or 7 crates of records for 4 hours, I just have to take my laptop. And, I probably have like 52,000 songs on my, in my laptop.
It's
so,
amazing.
if you would have tried to do that carrying records, you'd spend half a day trying to just get all your records to the club.
Oh, wow.
So is that all on your laptop, or do you have like an external hard drive? How do you carry all that?
The laptop I have right now, when I bought it, I maxed it out, so I put a terabyte hard drive in there.
Oh wow!
So I can fit 52,000 songs. Hasn't even scratched the surface of that terabyte drive I have. I can tell you right now, I have. Let's see. I have 426 gigs left that I can store on my laptop.
Oh wow!
So you can almost double your library if you wanted to.
Yeah. So, Sam, I've obviously
I have backup. I was just saying, I also have backup hard drives in case anything happens. But go ahead, RJ.
I was going to say, obviously, I've been to see you a couple times at a couple different venues. I can't remember the first one I went to. It was over there in Victory Park, the sushi place. But then I've also seen you when you were at Kung Fu. So my question is, how did you get your first, job or residency, whatever you want to call it?
I think it was just word of mouth. People. When I was DJing with a couple of my friends, we kind of started building steam, and people were like, "Oh, those guys are, they play hip hop. They throw in a little bit of other stuff." And just building up our name, and we'd do a guest spot at a club, and then at the end of the night, the club would be like, "Hey man, we really liked what you did. How would you like to do once a month here?" And then just building off that. So it's all been mostly like word of mouth.
So Sam, with COVID keeping everything obviously still kind of shut down, do you have an idea when you think you might be able to get back to doing any kind of event, even if it's just a small one?
Well, I've worked the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
So the first week back we worked, it was 25%, and it was weird. I really didn't like it. I didn't think we should have been open yet.
Yeah.
But and then the second week is when the protest started, so everything got shut down because of the curfew. And one of the places I work at got broken into, so that put a damper on things. But I've probably played like 7 times since COVID, and it's weird. I still wear a mask, but seeing some of these kids out, it's mostly people RJ's age.
Right.
Usually I'll see people from 21 to like, getting close to 40. And like right now it's around from 21 to RJ's age. And you wouldn't think that there was anything going on in the world right now. So it's kind of scary. Like I can see why the numbers have gone up, because some of these people, could care less if they're sick. I think they'd still go out.
I wholeheartedly agree with you there.
So let me ask you this, Sam, because one of the things that I remember from hanging out with my friends and being in the DJ booth with them a couple of times was, obviously you're going to have people coming up to request songs with you. So let me ask you, what is the favorite song that you like when somebody requests, and then your most hated song that when somebody comes and requests it?
I'll start off with saying this. I don't mind requests. A lot of DJs are request this, request that. It's our job to keep people happy. My problem is how you go about your request. People forget that we're all human beings. Like they'll just, hey, you need to play this song now because we're about to leave. And I'll tell people like, well, if you're gonna leave, I don't care. Like I'm not, why would I play your song if you're gonna leave and not spend money here? Like I'm not here for that. But one song I do hate being asked for is the wobble. And because I always tell people, I'm like, that's a wedding song. Like if I have to play the wobble to make people dance, I'm not a good DJ.
Yeah.
Like the wobble is what a wedding DJ plays when no one is on the floor, and they know that it's gonna get people dancing. So and then my favorite request is just usually anything that fits what I'm already doing. If I'm playing an upbeat song and then someone comes and asks for something slow, it's just like, all right, I'll get to it. But if it's like, when it's like, oh, it fits what you want to hear, like I would probably play it anyways. Like that makes me happy. Like, man, you kind of know you kind of have a feel of what's going on, and you're not asking me to step out of what I'm building towards.
When's the last time you had somebody request the Macarena?
Oh my God.
It happens more than you think. And there was a rap song that came out. There was a rap song that came out recently called La Macarena, and it sampled that. So when people would ask for that, they'd also ask for the original Macarena.
I gotcha. But
you'd be surprised at some of the stuff. Like some of the requests are crazy. Like I was in a club one night and someone asked for Frank Sinatra. I'm like, no one is gonna dance to Frank Sinatra.
Oh man,
that's when they want to get drunk. They're at the bar. Can you play some slow Frank Sinatra songs so I can get hammered?
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten any requests
What
for
were you
like
asking,
any hardcore Mexican music?
Yeah, I get a lot of flack because, you know, being Mexican, you know, Hispanic people already expect me to just have every Spanish song available. So, you know, I get in trouble a lot because I'm like, yo, you know, I'm sorry, that's, you know, I have what's popular, but, you know, I don't have that, you know, Vicente song that your dad used to sing in 77. Like, you know, it doesn't work at the club, so why would I have it?
Yeah.
So, hey, bud, as a DJ, do you ever get the occasional crazy groupie?
Oh yeah, yeah. Usually, you know, in like '07, '06 through '08, you know, I toured with a rapper a lot. So
Oh, okay.
there was always you know, super
Yeah.
fans. I guess you could say that. Yeah,
So
a lot of
little
after
known fact
parties, but
about Sam is Sam doesn't drink, right? So, but how many over the course of the year, Sam? How many drinks have people bought you? Do you think? Just estimate.
oh man, thousands. I guess I would say. Like, I mean, I remember doing one show where and Fred Loya's son was there,
Oh,
and
wow.
Oh,
he bought me and my
Wow.
friend 2 bottles of champagne. Yeah.
nice.
So,
Wow.
you know, people like to, and sometimes I think they just do it to look cool too. Like they don't care, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not trying to make sure we're having a good time. They just want to be, hey, look, you know, I got the DJ a drink and I'm hanging out with the DJ. You know, it can become a weird life because there's a lot you can indulge in, and you just have to be able to, you know, some people indulge and go too far.
Yeah.
You know, some people are moderate with it, and it can get to you real quick.
So the other thing,
And I think that's what partially helped me.
yeah. No, I get,
That's what partially kept me from, you know, helped me stop drinking.
yeah. Yeah. Well, so to that end, bud, what's your typical day like? Because obviously, if you're DJing at nightclubs, you're out till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sure. So when do you kind of get started? Let's say, you know, when does Sam start his typical day? Go prep for your show. If you know you got a late night, do you sleep a little bit more during the day? Or how many days a week are you actually getting up like kind of later in the morning to give yourself because you got to rest. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, it's also physically draining what you do. So, I mean, just mentally keeping up with your craft, but it is physically draining. So what's your kind of, tell me what your typical schedule looks like on a day you know you're going to perform till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning?
Unfortunately, because, you know, most of our life we woke up early to go to work with our family, that's still ingrained in me. So, you know, I can go, you know, if I get home at 2:30, you know, I'll be asleep by 3:30. I'm still waking up at like 7 or 8. You know, now I'll lay in bed. You know, I won't get up and get at it, but it's just automatic, and that's just from years of having to get up to go to work.
Yeah.
So I'll wake up around 7 or 8, and you know, a lot of people don't realize this about DJs, but you know, most of our life is not just going to a club and DJing. Like, you know, we have to sit there and go through music. You know, at least twice a week, I'm downloading new music. You know, going through stuff. You know, checking the charts to see what's popular. So it's, you know, a lot of people think it's just the party life, but you know, there's a lot of work that goes behind it that they don't see. You know, I'm on 3 different record pools, which is, you know, back in the vinyl days, you know, DJs you'd sign up, you'd pay, you know, however much a month, and you'd be sent like, you know, 40 records in the mail of like what's new, and that was the record company's way of getting their new music out. And now it's all digital. So I'm on 3 different record pools, and every day they're uploading new music. So it's a constant, you know. What did I when was the last time I downloaded, you know, did I check this song out, you know, and now that music is so readily available, now we have to even look deeper to, you know, try to find, well, how can I find this new song that someone might not have? You know, so I have, you know, we're all constantly trying to dig just a little deeper to find something that might set us apart from every other DJ.
So on part of your equipment, Bud, do you also incorporate like light displays, or is that already kind of done at the club and you really don't have to worry about that? You just worry about the music.
Fortunately, all I have to do is worry about the music. You know, I never really got into the mobile DJing, and that's where, you know, getting all the lights and all that come into play. Yeah. So, you know, being a club and bar DJ, that's usually all set up there.
So has that led to you like building relationships with some artists just so you can get access to their music before other DJs?
Yeah, you know, there's, you know, sometimes, you know, artists will come into the club and, you know, hang out. There was a rapper named, I can't. He had the song "Ice Cream Paint Job." I can't. His song,
Duro Music.
Duro.
Yeah.
Duro Music. And you know, he would come to the clubs a lot, and you know, would see me playing, see other DJs playing, and they want to get to the DJ too. You know, hey man, you know, I'm working on some new stuff. You know, here's a new song. See if you can check it out. You know, see if you can try it, and see if it works. So. You know, or, you know, I'll be on, you know, I'll just be looking for music on the internet. And if I find a song from someone that's unheard of, you know, I'll download it. I'll hit them up. Hey, man, I really like this track. You know, I DJ in Dallas. You know, is there anything else you have? You know, maybe I'd like to check it out. And if I can play it, you know, I'd love to play it. You know, see if anybody out here likes it.
So
who's the most famous person you've met doing this?
That's a good one.
Michael Young.
Oh man. Texas wise, I'd say Michael Young.
Yes. Yes.
I still have his phone number.
Wow.
Maybe Spike Lee.
Oh, that's major.
You know, I DJ'd for Michael. Yeah. I DJ'd for Michael Jordan during the All-Star game when he was here in Dallas. But
oh wow.
I was late showing up. The day he walked the area because of the snowstorm. Yeah. So I missed him by like maybe 30 minutes.
Oh,
but we were told when they told us Michael Jordan was coming through, they were like, do not speak to him. Do not approach him. If he talks to you,
look him in the eye.
You know, like there was rules. Like basically that's what they were saying. Like if, you know, be cordial if he speaks to you, but, you know, do not approach Michael Jordan at all.
Do not make eye contact.
I wouldn't have had that chance anyway. Yeah.
Do not breathe his. Do not breathe in his farts. Do not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see the documentary?
He's Air Jordan because you can't breathe his air. Oh yeah. I was you know, I watch y'all's podcast. Usually, you know, me and my friend will play video games, and we'll turn on the podcast, and we talk back to y'all show a lot. You know, so it was cool hearing y'all's perspective. And it was funny because when y'all were talking about Jordan, I was like, Jay reminds me of Ed a lot. Like I remember y'all being strong Jordan haters, And it was like, I don't even know what y'all are just hating because he's good.
Right.
For no other reason. So like during that time, I was yelling at my phone a lot, like, "Oh, Jay, you're such a hater."
Well, he's
yeah, it was a hell of a documentary.
If that little short bodyguard, the curly haired one that he had with him all the time, I wonder if he was there waiting to tackle you.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well,
that dude. No, I remember the very first episode I saw him. I was like, "That's a mullet."
That was going on Mullet Monday.
Yeah.
So Sam, we've talked quite a bit about your record collection and your music and DJing. Let's talk a little bit about your sneakers, bro. So,
oh man,
you know, you got a significant collection there. Do you have a couple of favorite pair that you say, hey, you know, I know I asked you earlier about if you've worn all your shoes, and you say, yeah, you wear them. But if you said, hey, my most prized possession of sneakers, which one are those?
I would say the Jordan 4.
Oh wow!
This was a collaboration with Levi's.
Yeah.
So it's all Levi denim, and just the Jordan 4 is probably one of my favorite Jordans ever.
You better sleep with your gun, Sam. RJ might
take you
sleep
on a quick little journey. I'm gonna take you on a journey real quick. I have this Michael Jordan, and it's a shoe
that's
box.
just a box. Yeah, I was gonna say that's just
with more.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Never mind.
With more shoes.
Holy shnikes!
And it opens up, and there's more shoes. But
oh wow!
Damn.
The Jordan 11,
another good shoe,
is also so. The Jordan 11, but in the Carolina blue, dropped on my, I want to say 16th birthday.
Yeah.
And I had my dad drive all over Dallas trying to find them for me, and he wasn't able to.
Yeah.
So years later, when they re-released these were one of the first like big purchase shoes I made.
So here's a quick story.
You know, as far
here's
as
a quick story. Go ahead, Sam. Finish first.
Oh no, I was just gonna go into like, you know, in '96. No, even before that, you know, as a kid, I had every pair of Jordans that came out. You know, luckily my dad spoiled us.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't have Air Jordans because I still had a kid size.
Yeah.
So I just had Nike Jordans.
Yeah.
And so I, you know, as long as I can remember, I've been a sneakerhead, you know, without really even thinking about it.
So here's a quick little story that you know, when RJ is the oldest grandson. He's my oldest son, and I'm the oldest. You know, so you know, when he was little, you guys all kind of helped pitch in and spoil him, and that's when Deion Sanders came out with his sneakers, and I can remember taking him to the shoe store after he outgrew his first pair of Deion's, and we walked around the damn store for almost an hour. I was showing him all these different tennis shoes, and the only thing he kept asking was, "Are they Deion's, Dad? Are they Deion's?" And I was thinking, there's no freaking way I'm going to pay $100 for a pair of kids' tennis shoes. I'm not doing it. So we found a pair of Nikes that were blue and white. They were just standard Nikes. They weren't anybody's marquee brand. So I showed RJ to him because they were the cowboy. They were kind of the Cowboys color, and I said, "Look at these, RJ." And he's like, "Are they Deion's, Dad? Are they Deion's?" And I lied my ass off. I said, "Yep, son, they're Deion's. These are Deion's. Look, that was Cowboy color. They're absolutely Deion's." We got out of there for,
They were
1999.
Dionne Warwick's.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Oh well, that's awesome. That's awesome, Sam. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
that's good stuff, man.
Do you have a shoe that you have like multiple? I don't want to say versions, but like the same, the same model of, like, that's like your go-to shoe, but you need to have multiple pair of that edition.
No, I mean, I usually just buy a lot of this, like, different colorways. Like, I have maybe 10 pair of Jordan 4s in different colorways. The Jordan 1, I have a bunch. I have a bunch of Air Max. I have a lot of Air Force 1s. For me, it was never about what the cool people wanted. If I saw a shoe and I thought it looked cool and I liked the colors, I would buy it. I never wanted to buy the shoe that everybody else wanted. I just, if I don't care if people thought they were ugly or they thought they were the stupid shoe. If I liked how it looked, I'd buy it.
Well, I myself am a sneakerhead. I have 2 pairs of shoes, 1 pair of black dress shoes for work, and 1 pair of tennis shoes that I keep for about a year before I move them out. So, we're kind of like on the same level.
The New Balance.
Hell yeah.
Or the Buster Browns.
The grilling
The
season
New Balance,
ones.
brother. Hey, whichever one is cheaper. If they're $49.99, I'm all over.
Hey,
it.
I was going to say,
they made
Sam.
the Velcro, Cookie Monster
So
if I could buy the Velcro joints in my size, I would.
So between you and your brothers, there's 3 of you guys, and you know that with us, we're 6. Growing up. And my dad, because we he basically had to buy tennis shoes for 6 kids. We didn't really get the Nike. I didn't get my first pair of Jordans or really even like major name brand shoes till I was 16. We used to order our shoes through a catalog, and the brand was called Olympic Star. And I remember one year he bought me a pair. I went to PE. It was like the second week of school, and the damn sole came unglued, and it was flopping around as I'm running. I told my dad, man, come on, man, we at least got to buy some Pumas or something, even if they're like Converse. Olympic Star.
Hey, you remember those shoes he got you that had like a SMU logo on them? They're like a pair of white shoes. I can't remember what they were called, but they used to have like a little SMU pony on them. I remember you used to have those.
Yeah, I think they were ponies. Yeah,
probably the pony brand.
Yeah, but I remember I was literally just like so embarrassed because we were in the middle of running laps, and the sole just came completely unglued, and I was flapping around like this. Oh man,
that happened to me like 2 years ago. I took out a pair of Jordans that I hadn't worn in 5 or 6 years, and I pulled them out. And if you don't take care of them the right way, they'll fall apart. So I put them on. I got into the club, and as I'm walking to the DJ booth, the shoes just start falling apart. And I'm just I have the shell of a shoe in my sock. I had to call one of my friends and ask him to come drop me off a pair of sneakers. So yeah, if you don't take care of the shoes and wear them a lot, they'll just rot out.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
apart from his
pain.
impressive shoe collection, his impressive record collection, I'm tripping out on that painting he's got hanging up behind him with a lot of. I don't know if anybody knows who Dexter's laboratory is, but that's Dexter's sister hanging out with Sam back there in the DJ in the DJ booth. That's a pretty cool picture.
Yeah, I DJ'd a charity event for my friend, and that was how he repaid me. He's a pretty well-known local artist. You know, he does a lot of custom toys, and he just, you know, said, hey, you know, I can't really pay you money, but, you know, what if I can paint you a picture? I was like, I'll take it.
Isn't her name Dee Dee?
That came out.
What's her name?
Yeah, Dee Dee.
Yeah.
Dee
Dee
Dee.
Dee.
So who came up with your logo, Sam? Because I know that your stickers are kind of like all over the DFW area. I've seen them on fence posts. I've seen your stickers on light posts, just in random places. And like if you can show that picture behind you, that's what your stickers look like too. Who came up with that like character of you? Him?
No, I have a friend named. I also have this character.
Oh man, that's
A very good friend of mine. A good friend of mine, Nick Quintero. He has a website called Fresher Than. He's an amazing graphic artist, but he does any artwork. I anytime I have a stupid idea, you know, I'll text him, and you know, he'll just bang it out and send it to me. You know, I have one logo where it's based off of Adventure Time, and he took the main character Finn and turned me into Finn.
That's awesome.
And then the one in that photo, he just created the character himself and just threw the hat on. You know, you would always see me wearing a Texas Ranger hat every time I DJ'd.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'd always have a Maverick hat. So, you know, he just, we went from there, and kind of, you know, everybody really liked it.
Do you still keep in touch or, you know, communicate with Ben and Skin?
Yeah, I talked to Skin like a week ago, I think. Or, you know, when they were doing their podcast while they weren't doing their show, I spoke to Skin because I really enjoyed their podcast. Okay. But you know, I've known them. I met them through hip hop music. You know, I'm sure they talk about it a lot. But you know, Ben used to be a rapper, and Skin was a DJ and music producer. So that's how I met those guys.
Follow-up question.
That's pretty cool. Go ahead, RJ.
I was going to say, out of the popular or, you know, up and coming artists today, do you have a favorite that, you know, you really like their style and, you know, stuff they're putting out these days?
That's kind of tough, you know. A lot of this new music, I'm not a huge fan of. You know, I love Kendrick Lamar, Anderson .Paak, but a lot of the new rap, you know, I'm mostly playing it because that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
So, you know, but there's a few dudes that are doing cool stuff. There's Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah, he's a good one.
You know, I like a lot of like the gangster, like you know, drug dealer rap kind of. Because
well, hey guys, we really appreciate our cousin Sam, aka
yeah, man, it was awesome. Thank you for coming on,
DJ Fisher Price, aka Mixed Master Washington. Yeah, it was really fun, bro, catching up with you. We know you got to take off here, so we really appreciate your time jumping on the podcast with us. You know, keep doing what you're doing, bro. We're all proud of you. You know that, and
definitely
keep enjoying what you're doing, Sam. I mean, I've always admired that about you, bro. Is you're doing what you want to do. You're happy doing it, and you don't let nobody tell you shit. And there ain't nothing wrong with that at all, bro. So thanks again,
man.
We'll see you.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Before we let Sam go,
I love you guys, and y'all, you know, keep.
I just want to give Sam the opportunity to plug, you know, where he's DJing these days, and the link for his Mixcloud.
Oh yeah,
SoundCloud.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I DJ right now. I'm DJing at Dibs at Victory Park on Fridays and High Fives on Saturdays. My Mixcloud is kind of long, so whenever this post, I'll just put I'll comment the link so people can see my Mixcloud.
Yeah, and if you can send it to me, I can
But, thank you
superimpose
for
it into the screen afterwards.
Okay, thank you for having me. Keep this going. I want to see y'all get better with every show because I enjoy yelling at y'all when I'm playing video games. So,
well, man, we appreciate you coming on, Sam. Thanks for stopping by, buddy.
all right, man. Love y'all. See y'all soon.
All right, love you too,
Love
bro.
you too,
See
bud.
you later. All right, bye.
Okay, before we get off the top of music, guys, this is not DJ related, but kind of relates to the topic. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on the drive-in or drive-up Garth Brooks concert that they had recently.
That's a great topic. Mom was asking me about it actually today, about whether or not I thought we could go do that. I told her, hell no. While I think the format would be cool, I'm not about to fork over $100 to sit in my own car with my own air conditioning, listen to my own radio, just to hear Garth Brooks. I'll just download his music and sit in my driveway and do it for $1.99.
Well, I think the big thing for most people is just the experience and to get out to a concert again, because this all happened so fast. Concerts got canceled so quickly, and people enjoy that whole communal thing about going to a concert. Not the biggest concert going in the world, but I know even you and you and your wife have been to an Eagles concert. You've been to Jimmy Buffett. I can't tell you how many times.
Zach Brown.
There's no telling. Zach Brown too. So it's just that experience of just getting out to see that act in person. And I guess if Garth Brooks is not your favorite person in the world, you wouldn't fork over the $100 to go do it.
Oh, no. And don't get me wrong. Hey, look, I'm just being facetious here. It's not, I love Garth Brooks. I really do. I mean, I've got a ton of his music that's in my iTunes library. I'm a huge Garth Brooks fan. I guess what I'm more than anything, I agree that I think people want to get out and they kind of want to enjoy as close to a concert experience as possible. But I think in the format of going to a drive-in, I'd rather go to the drive-in and watch a movie and still pay like $20. And, you'll spend a little bit more than that with snacks and stuff, but you get different movies. You'll get two movies. The Garth Brooks, I guess the reason I like going to concerts is because I like seeing the band and I like hearing the music live, and I like seeing the way they just kind of sometimes perform it, even though they have a set list. Sometimes they go off that script. Sometimes they just they play a song and they're feeling the rhythm and they just keep playing. So I've seen some really cool things going to concerts. And I agree, if you're a huge Garth Brooks fan, why wouldn't you do it? I just think for me personally, it's nothing against Garth Brooks. I just don't see myself paying $100 to go to a drive-in to see anything.
Yeah, no, I completely get what you're saying, because I mean, right now, drive-in movies, they do have the concessions closed, but like you were saying, you can pay $20, per person, and you're getting a double feature, especially if you go to like the Galaxy Drive-In down there in Ennis. So, for $100 to sit in your car, it's not the same experience. I get people want to go out and be communal, but it's just not the same experience. Driving movies is a little different. So why am I going to fork over $100? Just in essence, what's, kind of like listening to the album. I mean, you're completely right. The way they do, I mean, there's artists who have back-to-back concerts like in the major cities, Chicago, New York, Dallas, just because they want as many people, our venues can only hold so many people, and they want as many of their fans to go in these major cities as possible. And yet they don't always play the same sets because they feel differently the way that the energy they get from the crowd one night versus the other. And there's something to be said for the experience that you get from live music. It's just not the same as listening onto it as a, you know, the coronavirus radio channel. So
yeah, but it is interesting. I think it for some people it will help them scratch that itch of getting out of the house. Again, Garth Brooks is a great entertainer.
definitely.
You know, I could see where some people, I mean, if it was like $40, I'd probably do it, you know, just to get out of the house for a few hours and go. But, you know, when she told me it was $100, I was like, man, it's quite a bit just to park in your own car, listen to your own radio. Yeah, you'll see Garth Brooks on the screen, but honestly, you know, there's this this app called Nugs that you can go on and you can get concerts. Like they'll post concerts and stuff, music events, and I mean it's not very expensive. And you know, if like some people have very big TVs at home, and you've got a surround system. I mean, you could almost recreate a concert type environment in your own home. You get high quality music, high def visuals on your TVs. So some people's home theaters are pretty damn impressive. So to get out of the house and spend that kind of money for, the way I'm looking at it, is basically watching a concert on TV, albeit a huge TV, and albeit, you know, out of the house. I don't know. I just can't justify that price.
No, I agree with you, especially because, you know, if you look at, I mean, the nosebleeds, you know, usually are, you know, $60-$70 a ticket. So, you know, for $100, I understand they're trying to, you know, come up with modern solutions given the current situation we're in. But I mean, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think the only time I've spent over $100 per ticket was when I went to, you know, George Strait's final concert. But all the other ones I've been to have been, you know, relatively small venues. So tickets are, you know, $60-$70 per ticket. So
Jay, be honest, would you do it?
If it were somebody that I really, really wanted to see, I'd be tempted. You know, again, I think it comes down to price point. I never was a big concert goer to begin with. I've been to a few concerts in my life, but I'm just not the biggest. You know, I'm not one of these kind of guys that goes to music festivals or every time somebody that I like comes to town have to go see. You know, but you know, I think that if, you know, like say, for instance, I'm a big Blake Shelton fan. If Blake Shelton were to play a drive-through concert like that, a drive-in concert like that, and you know, tickets weren't ridiculous, you know, $100 or under, I'd go. You know, just me. I don't mind sitting in my car listening to, you know, music. I got to be around all the other sweaty people and nobody's breathing their COVID breath all over me. I'm good.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you could do that same thing at home, bro. I mean, getting out of the house is one thing. Like for example, if you had an awesome surround system at the drive-in theater, right? But most drive-in theaters broadcast over your own car radio
system.
Yeah. So your sound quality is, you know, it'll be good, but it's going to be your car radio. And you're going to be seeing, you know, the screen while you're sitting in your car.
I mean, I get your point. I understand your point of view. You know, just like everything else, you know, it all depends on how, you know, I guess, how bad do you want to get out during this time? I mean, because there's some people who are just jonesing for sports to come back in any way, shape, or form so they can go to a sporting event, you know? And, you know, if you told me the only way that I could go see, you know, the Texas Rangers play was that I had to buy 3 tickets so that I could have, you know, space between me, I probably would do it just because I want to go to a Ranger game that bad, you know? I think it's all depending on how bad do you want it. You know, how bad do you want this to happen? I
Right.
think, you know, with the way things are going now, we've seen a spike here, especially, you know, DFW area, big cities, of COVID cases, death, just because ever since the state opened back up. And, you know, I think that's one thing Sam brought up was seeing people out that just are so over everything. They don't want to wear masks. You know, I think we talked about this before. It's all their personal preference. You know, if it were me, I'd have a mask on, but that's me. You know, I'm doing what I can to protect me. I'm doing what I can to protect my wife. So, you know,
Right.
I think it's all dependent, you know, would somebody go to a concert, pay $100 to go to a concert, to sit in their car and watch it? How bad do you want to go out and see that concert? You know, there are some people that don't go to sporting event. That's their jive. They go to concerts all the time. So maybe they would invest the kind of money to do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. There'll be enough of them. They'll make money. It'll be a maybe not a huge profit type of event. They'll make money and people will enjoy it. People will be happy to get out of the house. I agree with you. People are tired of being sequestered at home. We all get a little bit of cabin fever. You took a little road trip not too long ago. Sunday, so did we. We went out and we got out in the car and just drove. You know, we were gone pretty much all day. We really didn't stop anywhere or do much of anything. We were just glad to get out of the house and be just on the road all day, driving and looking at the country. Went down, drove around the lake and stuff like that. So I do think people are fed up and pent up and they're ready to release. But I also agree that there's still far too many people that are very lax in social distancing, and maybe they flat out don't care. I think there's a significant amount of people that just don't care, and unfortunately, that's translating into these elevated numbers we're seeing. I know we're coming in for a second wave. I know some people don't really even care anymore. They don't want to hear that. But I think the overall sentiment is the only way we're going to get through this is we're going to have to figure out how to find a balance between keeping our economy open and still maintaining some social distance. I do the same thing. I wear a mask. If I'm going down in public, I have a mask on. And, it's I guess, discouraging that a lot of people look at you weird because you are wearing a mask. Except for the other people who choose to wear a mask, and then there's just some people that are flat out blatant about it. They don't care that you're wearing a mask. They don't care that you're, hey, if you're in my line of path, I'll pass within 6 inches of you. I don't care. I'm going where I'm going. You're not going to inconvenience me.
There's still people out there that even places like last night, we went to this little El Salvadorian restaurant here in Oak Cliff, to get something to eat. And when I went in to go order, I forgot my mask. I just, I just got off of work. I was tired. I just went in to order. And the lady told me, she goes, you need to put a mask on. So oh crap, let me run back out to the car, grab my mask, go in, place the order. And there's still places like that won't even serve you if you don't have a mask on.
Right.
So there are still people out there that are doing, what they can. It's just all a personal preference thing for a lot of people. It's just like you said, some people just don't want to be inconvenienced, and that's fine. I think the only way that they're going to be convinced that this is still a problem is it affects them. And if it's not affecting them, then there's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I think you're completely right, Uncle JJ. Kind of touching on what Sammy was saying when he was on here is there's a lot of people in my age group, especially, who just, either just didn't care or just didn't really know how serious this was. And I can tell you, I know 2 people now who've tested positive, and while I haven't been around them recently, obviously now they're starting to take it a little more serious. But for me, I just, I think we all have cabin fever. Do I wish things were back to normal and we could go to a Cowboys game or us three be at Rangers opening day together, certainly. But I think there's a bigger thing going on here. And I think it is important that, luckily we live in the great state of Texas where we have, these vast state parks, where you can still have social distancing, but, kind of get to stretch out your legs. But I do think we need to prepare for the possibility that soon, very soon, masks are going to be required, at least by businesses, because there was an interview today. I believe it sounds like Governor Abbott's considering giving cities or mayors the power to decide whether they can require businesses to require masks. And if you don't like it, go ahead.
No. Yeah, finish your thought.
I was just going to say, if you don't like it, then, that's fine. But you're going to be in the vast minority at that point, and you're going to have to stay home. Because
the reality is people will have to address it, because if enough business, if the numbers continue to climb and this thing continues to, we're not getting out in front of it. We're not combating, and we're not being successful in trying to level off or reduce the numbers. They're just going to keep going up and up and up. At some point, we're going to overwhelm our hospitals. And when you get to that point, again, you're really going to be in dire straits, because the people that are going to need emergency services for other reasons other than COVID are going to be, those emergencies, while they'll still be, a lot of them will be top priority. Some of it will have to be pushed back because the hospitals are just going to be overwhelmed. And again, with a wife that's in the nursing profession, that's going to be a consistent worry for me going, all throughout this is she going to get a patient that is COVID positive and isn't taking precautions and isn't worried about getting anybody else infected? And of course, my wife gets infected, and then that just opens a whole can of worms. So, it'll continue to be an issue, and we could probably talk about it more in our next episode. Because as I look at the clock, we're just over that hour. It was fun having Sammy on today.
It was good.
He's our cousin, and people who know us know that we were real close. We're still close, but as kids, they were like extended brothers for us, me and you, Jay, because they were always at our house. We were always at their house. We were always running together. Yeah. So they're more than just our cousins. They're just like extended brothers, and we love them a lot. Very proud of him. But as we wrap up today's episode, we want to thank you all for tuning in again, for giving us another hour plus of your time. We hope you enjoyed this episode with DJ Fisher Price, and we look forward to the next episode. We'll probably pick up a little bit more COVID and have a couple other topics to talk about. But as we close out, guys, remember, please give us a like and a subscribe. Hit the notification in the top corner so that you're notified for when we drop new episodes. And remember to check out our audio format on Podbeans, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So until next time, thanks for tuning in to the Now That You Mention It podcast with Roll, J, and RJ. Have a good night. I'm Roll.
I'm Jay.
And I'm El Compa RJ.
So until next time, guys, thanks a lot. Have a great night. And thank you to Jesse P, because we could never do this without you.
Amen. Talk to you later, boys.
All right.
Good night, y'all.